Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another riveting round of Bop or Flop. I am your host, as always, Lightning, and with me...
It's me, Thunder. I'm super excited for today's episode.
Excellent.
So I think let's just get right into it.
My voice would say that I am too. First up, Lilo and Stitch, the series.
Ow.
Listen, Papa!
Lilo and Stitch the series lasted 2 seasons from September 20th, 2003 to July 29th, 2006 and lasted for 65 episodes. It starred Davy Chase and Chris Sanders as the titular Lilo and Stitch and was a continuation of the 2002 animated Disney feature film of the same name. The theme song was called Aloha Ikomo Mai, and it was written and composed by Danny Jacob Mark Hammond and Ali B. Olmo, and was performed by Nashville, Tennessee-based Christian pop group Jump 5, and they were, of course, accompanied by Stitch.
Question number 1, is it good?
Yes, I love this one so much for multiple different reasons. So you recognize this one?
I did recognize this one. I can tell, not to spoil anything,
Yeah.
I can tell it's not going to be a perfect. And there's one reason, and one reason alone, why. I would give this a perfect if it wasn't for this reason.
Okay.
And you will have to listen to the rest of the
Yeah.
questions to find out which one it is. But no, it was very good. It's going to hit all the check marks except one for me.
Okay.
Is it fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, it's a series, so sometimes it'll have a somber episode where, everything goes bad and maybe we learn a lesson or two or something. But the whole conceit of Stitch after the movie when Stitch is just hanging out in Hawaii, and the whole conceit is like, what the heck? Look at this guy. He's going to get into weird antics. Also, just sort of being in Hawaii is fun, I assume. I've never actually been, but I've seen a couple different movies and shows about it, and it just seems like their whole vibe is like, come here to have fun,
right?
As a tourist,
right?
If I'm watching a show about it, I'm not actually there. What am I if not a tourist?
No, I mean, I agree with all that. It's fun. It got me in the mood to watch the show, and it does explain the premise of the show that we are about to watch.
Oh, forgot about this one.
That's the one
It doesn't.
It might. I wouldn't know.
So, yeah, the Hawaiian in the song, it seems like it's just kind of like phrases, like, thanks so much, dear friend, and hello and goodbye are obviously in there. Aloha Ikomo Mai literally translates to welcome to come. I think that's I think it's supposed to be like welcome home, welcome on in, friends. Because they say aloha, come on by, and then they say aloha Ikomo Mai. So it's kind of like the English version and the Hawaiian version, where it's like, and I can respect that. How the theme song is like, come on in, enjoy yourself. That being said, not only did they not explain the premise of the show, they didn't say the show's name or the characters from the show, which is basically the same thing.
So they definitely get a big X on that all around.
Yeah.
Is it creative?
Yeah, so this is where I want to talk about how GD cultured this theme song is. The show takes place in Hawaii, the song is partly in Hawaiian. There's an extended version of this one. I've listened to it. There's more Hawaiian than said in the in the intro cut. The intro cut's very strange, and I don't know how much I enjoy the ending bit, the bit where it's like a call and response between Stitch and a bunch of tiki heads.
Yeah.
That's probably the weakest part of the theme song. It wasn't bad. It was if there was to be a weakest part, it was that. I will say they got Jump 5 to sing this. Jump 5 is they're not a band anymore, but they're an old, pretty much Disney exclusive pop band. They're a Christian pop band. They're out of Nashville, Tennessee. So at first I was like, that's cool that these people who are definitely not Hawaiian wrote this Hawaiian song. And then I found out that they didn't write it. They got other people to write it, and then they got them to perform it. So I've kind of flipped my opinion of, like, you did the Hawaiian song good. The song reminds me of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride from the Lilo and Stitch movie, which is, I'm sure, what it was supposed to do. but then you got Jump 5 to perform it. Like, you could have got native Hawaiian
Right.
performers to perform this song. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, this section this time. Because, like, yes, the song is, like, very culturally sound until you do a little research about it. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. You definitely don't want to appropriate.
Right.
And that
And,
job
like,
could
they
have been given
almost...
to native Hawaiian performers.
Yeah. And, like, they almost didn't appropriate, you know? But
Yeah.
then they did.
There are definitely some Americanized instrumentation in this song, which sounds intentional to probably grasp in the other 49 states.
Yeah.
The big one.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a bop or flop?
Taking into consideration everything we said, I think that Lilo and Stitch the series still gets the bop.
Oh, yeah. I was contemplating a perfect. But
But
there's a
you
big
were right.
glaring reason not to.
No, honestly, I was contemplating a perfect too. I had a complete disregard for question 3. So that's a good point that you brought up when you read question 3. So yeah, not a perfect, definitely a bop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Next is The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Here I am in your life. Here you are in mine. Yes, we have a sweet life most of the time.
The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody ran for 3 seasons from March 18th, 2005 to September 1st, 2008 and lasted for 87 episodes. It starred Dylan and Cole Sprouse as the titular twins, Zach and Cody, along with Ashley Tisdale and Brenda Song. The theme song is called Here I Am and was written by John Adair and Steve Hampton and was performed by Lauren Ellis and the Drew Davis Band.
Question number 1. Is it good?
Yeah, I think that this one's good, but I also feel like I definitely have seen every episode of this show when I was a kid, and I feel like I'm speaking from a place of nostalgia. Did you watch this show when you were a kid?
My sister did. I could not stand this show.
Okay, so then how did you like the theme song?
It was okay. It was good.
Okay.
But, like, there's nothing special about it. It was good. There's nothing special.
It was very, like, I've said this before, but it just felt like it gave the general vibe of Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't say
Early
Sweet Life...
2000s Disney Channel.
Yeah, if they didn't say the word Sweet Life and you were like, that was the Phil of the Future theme song, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. It was what it was.
Yeah.
Is it fun?
Yeah, I mean, the show is about 2 mischievous kids, and it's about twins, right? So they get into the all the hijinks that Tia and Tamara got into. They pose as each other sometimes. You know, they're young, so they live in a hotel, if that wasn't clear. They just run amok of this hotel and the hotel staff. The theme song has the job of feeling a little mischievous and almost feeling like it's the 2 leads singing. And plus the show's called The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. It's literally like, welcome to our world. For the next 30 minutes, it's going to focus on us, and you're going to be in our shoes, and you're going to watch all the hijinks we get into. So I think it does a pretty good job in that regard.
Does it explain the premise of the show that we are about to watch?
Not well.
No.
It definitely... they don't say The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. They say The Sweet Life, so close. And I guess, not that they knew this at the time, but that's kind of the brand, because there was a follow-up show. It was called The Sweet Life on Deck.
Oh, right.
So they didn't change the Sweet Life part. So if they were to only give us part of the title, they gave us the right part.
Yeah.
But they don't say the kids' names. The song doesn't really mention about twins. Does it explain, what happened episode 0? No. Does it explain what happens episode to episode? Not really. Because it's not just... it's not a skit show.
Right.
There is a plot each episode.
Right.
So I feel like it does an okay job, not adequate enough, though.
Is it creative?
Yeah, so from a musical, musicality standpoint, no. It's just your
It's a
average.
mid-2000s pop-punk intro that every children's TV show got.
Yeah, but I will say it does get some points in the Is It Creative section for being from the perspective of the children.
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
It's not Dylan and Cole Sprouse singing, but the lyrics are like at first they're singing to each other, then they're singing to the audience. They didn't do the bare minimum, you know. They
Sure.
went a little bit like, how can we spice this up a little? They
Sure.
didn't quite go as hard as Total Drama Island did, but they did put in a little bit of work. But other than that, not really. Sort of just your cookie cutter textbook early 2000s, mid 2000s Disney Channel theme song.
Is it a bop or flop?
I am going to, after the discussion we just had, I'm going to say blop.
A blop.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that the theme song is good. I think that it needs a little more to be upgraded to bop. You know what I mean?
Okay. I think we're doing a little hard hitting today. I'm not against it.
This is the sweet life. We've got the sweet life.
Up next is Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life lasted 4 seasons in a movie from September 18th, 1993 to November 24th, 1996 and lasted 52 episodes. It was created by Joe Murray and starred Carlos Alazraqui and Tom Kenny. Remember those names because they're going to come up later. Joe Murray, Carlos Alazraqui, Tom Kenny.
I know who Tom Kenny is.
Rocco's Modern Life has 3 theme songs. This is the third and most well-known, and it was written and performed by the B-52s.
It had other theme songs?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
The Wikipedia article said, like, for the first 2 episodes, it was this one, and then, like, until episode 8, it was the second one, and then from that point on, it was this one.
Okay, that makes more sense. Question number 1, is it good? You got to know the band that's doing this song. If you like the B-52s, then it was a B-52 song.
Right. Oh, so, yeah, I've never heard this before researching for this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't watch the show. I never heard this theme song. As soon as I heard that guy's voice, I was like, oh, it's the gay voice Love Shack guy.
Yeah.
I know this.
Yeah. No, exactly.
They got a weird band for a weird show.
Yeah.
And I think it's not usually
It's very
that-
stylized.
It's not typical that well-known bands are brought on to do a theme song. And sometimes when they are, we don't even like know about it. Like you and I
Right.
in episode 1 discovered that Lou Bega, person who did Mambo Number 5, was commissioned to write and record the theme song for Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. And it's like,
right.
that's such a crazy get.
That was episode 1 of Bop or Flop?
Yeah, that was episode 1. That was song 1. of
Song
Bop or
1,
Flop.
episode 1, Bop or Flop. Wow.
This song gives me the heebs, man. With the visuals.
Well, they're an awkward, uncomfortable band.
And I feel like it fits the show really well, but like hearing that song and having to watch those visuals, I was just like on the verge of having a dissociative episode. I was like, this is a lot. And I feel like if I grew up with it, I'd have a different opinion.
You get used to it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, but it just gave me the vibe of like back when we were kids, there was like cartoons and then there was like gross cartoons like
Ren and
like
Stimpy.
Ren and fucking Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life, and I assume. And
No, I don't, they're definitely out there. They were odd humor.
yeah, but yeah, I'm not gonna knock it because of my distaste for it. It was a good song, and they definitely got. If that was what they were going for, then they definitely got the
Yeah.
right band.
I mean,
to
if you
do
got
it.
the B-52s, then that's what you get.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, they wanted the B-52s, and they got a B-52 song.
Yeah.
All for them and all for their show. So that's cool.
Is it fun? I would not call this theme particularly fun.
But
It's
I would
memorable.
say that, yeah, I see. It's not fun, but I would say that in the "Is It Fun" category, it gets a big thumbs up because it definitely like puts me in the mood to watch this weird ass show.
Does it explain the premise of the show that we are about to watch? No. Question number 4.
I just realized all they say is Rocco's Modern Life.
Question number 4. Is it creative? So,
Tidalitis. This theme song has bad tidalitis.
yeah, no, it absolutely does.
And because it actually has the most clinical case of tidalitis because they don't say any other words. There's 2,
Except that was a hoot, which is one of the...
which is not
Characters.
Yeah, I believe that was Tom Kenny's character
Yeah.
saying that because he's credited as being as singing in the theme song, and I don't think he did. I think that was him.
Yeah. It's creative in the sense that you wanted the B-52s, you got the B-52s, and guess what? It sounded like a B-52 song.
Yeah.
It would be cool if it was they had to fit all these categories and it still sounded like a B-52 song. But no, they said the show's called Rocco's Modern Life. They
And
said,
go.
They said what else about this, and they hung up the phone. and,
Yeah.
and then they made a B-52 song about it. Is it a bop or flop?
You might disagree with me. I think I'm gonna give it a blop.
No, I'll put it in that category. Sure.
I think getting the B-52s was both a good idea and not a bad idea. It gave you positive points and negative points in some categories for multiple different reasons, and I will always respect when it's like, well, our show will only survive with a song from this band. Let's get them, and then they did, and then they let them do whatever they want, right? But the theme song is, I'd say, lacking in a couple different regards. So it gets the plot.
Rocco's Modern Life.
That was a hoot!
Up next, we have Camp Laszlo.
Attention campers, it's time for Camp Laszlo.
There were two scouts who made a friend, and Laszlo was his name. Oh, L-A-Z-L-O.
L-A-Z-L-O.
And Laszlo was his name. And then that trio went to camp and turned it upside down. Oh, L-A-Z-L-O.
Camp Laszlo lasted 5 seasons from July 8th, 2005 to March 27th, 2008, and lasted 61 episodes. It was created by Joe Murray and starred Carlos Alazraqui and Tom Kenny. And I didn't do that on purpose. These two came up randomly in the draw.
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, I wasn't until the research portion of this where I was like, you're kidding me. And they're right next to each other. The theme song is called Laszlo Was His Name-O, and if you haven't figured it out by now, it's a parody of the children's song Bingo. And it was adapted, you can't say written because it's an existing song. It was adapted with new lyrics by legendary American folk musician Terry Scott Taylor.
Question number 1, is it good? I was
It's
instantly
not-
going to say, well, it's not creative.
It's not bad. It's just
No, it's
not.
definitely mood-fitting for the show.
A lot of the stuff I want to say is in other categories. I'll just leave it at, sure, it's good, and move on from there.
Is it fun?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not fun. It's definitely fun to sing along to, and easy to sing along to because you already know it.
Right.
Because it's an existing song just with new lyrics.
Which might be a pull for kids to watch the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Might be a positive in that regard.
Yeah.
Does it explain the premise of the show that we are about to watch?
Yeah, so it actually does a pretty good job of doing that.
It does okay. I'd say it does okay. It had a bit of titleitis. It said Camp Laszlo.
It didn't say the title once. It said the title, the voice.
What
of the
is it? What was it saying then?
What do you mean? The title of the show is Camp Laszlo, and they were spelling the word Laszlo.
Okay, it has partial titleitis. Oh, it's just they said Laszlo too much.
Yeah.
Way
well,
too
I mean,
much.
that's the songs that they picked fault,
Right.
because the whole bingo song is you spell the word bingo.
But then you take a step back, and it's their fault for picking us and not making their
Exactly.
own song.
No, yeah, exactly. But no, in the verses, they do a I'll say like 60% job of explaining episode 0, because
Yeah.
the show starts, they're already at camp, you know.
Right. Is it creative? No.
Well, see, here's the thing. No, of course it's not creative. It's the children folk song bingo, right? But if it were to get any positive points in the is it creative section, first of all, don't use an existing song. Now that we're past that and we've already used an existing song, the existing song that they used is a sort of like campfire song that
Yeah.
you would maybe sing at camp.
Sure.
So in that
Sure.
regard, if you look at this as like, I mean, this is not the case because they are talking about the characters on the show. But if you look at it as like, this is one of the songs that these campers are singing while they're at camp, it's a little more creative than not, but it does ultimately fails more than it succeeds in is it creative because of the fact that they used an existing
Right.
song. I mean, we've already talked about it this episode. There's another show that we did that was essentially about camp life. It's called
Right.
Total Drama Island.
Right.
And they did like one of the most creative
Mhm.
things that I've ever seen in a theme song. They could have very well have done that in this song.
Right.
So clearly, somebody early on called the character Laszlo and was like, "Oh, that's got 5 letters and ends with O. We've got to parody the bingo song because it's like a camp thing
Right.
that they might sing." And that person was probably in charge of music production and got his way. It's an enjoyable enough theme song, but I wholly disagree with using an existing song.
Yep. Agreed. Is it a bop or flop?
Camp Laszlo gets the 3rd blop of the episode, I think, right?
Wow. Yeah. We are.
It's a good song. It's just you didn't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Unless, see, it's a double-edged sword, a catch-22 or whatever. Unless it's an existing IP. If the Lilo and Stitch series, if their theme song was a song from the Lilo and Stitch movie, I'd be like,
Right.
well, obviously.
Right.
But that just don't do what Camp Laszlo did.
L-A-Z-L-O.
L-A-Z-L-O.
L-A-Z-L-O. And Laszlo was his name.
残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になる
Neon Genesis Evangelion lasted 1 season from October 4th, 1995 to March 27th, 1996, and it lasted 26 episodes. It wasn't canceled. That's just all the story they wanted to tell.
Finish it, you baby.
Me? What? Okay.
If there's only 1 season, just finish watching.
Oh, shut up. Eat my The theme song is called A Cruel Angel's Thesis and was written by Neko Oikawa, Hidetoshi Sato, and Toshiyuki Omori, and was performed by Yoko Takahashi, who is most well known for this.
Is it good?
Yes. I really do enjoy this theme song. Oh, the reason we're doing this theme song is because a couple episodes ago, one thing led to another, and then we did a sitcom episode, and it's been a while, but a couple episodes ago, it was revealed through conversation that you have never heard this theme song, and I got very excited, so I chose this one to be on today's episode.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It definitely gave me classic anime intro vibes. It had an angelic opening,
Yes,
like
which
most animes do.
also the things, the aliens they're fighting are called angels.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
That's
so
funny.
that was probably intentional.
Not my wording, but you mean what they did?
Yeah.
Then it got super funky,
Yeah.
which I really enjoyed, but they kind of lost me.
But then
I
it
got
came
hyped
back.
up. It did, but sometimes when you're hyping a person up in a song, you got to pick a lane. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying, like,
No, I understand where you're coming from.
I already lost the momentum.
Yeah.
And if you give it back to me, it's not going to have the same
Plus-
punch anymore.
Plus, this is an anime, so this theme song is a full minute and a half. So there was a long break in between the two, heightened, funky sections, as you
Yeah.
called them.
Yeah. So not bad, but I was definitely like momentum lost. I wish it stayed longer. Doesn't mean it has to stay that way the whole time, but
Right.
it should have been there a little longer.
No, yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. If this theme song was to gain any criticism on a critical level, I think I definitely agree with what you just said.
Cool. Is it fun? I don't think fun is the right word for this one.
Yeah, it definitely
It gave off the vibe you
definitely-
wanted.
Yes, it definitely put me in the mood to watch Evangelion. So I've actually been watching this show. The show is set up in a way where it has a lot of like conversations about what could happen. It doesn't really stay too long on like this character's drama. Now this character's drama. It's sort of like a lot of talking about what could happen and what we're trying to prevent happen.
I'm glad you know what was going on because we're going to need that knowledge in the next question.
But that's mixed with very, very short form action scenes.
Yeah.
Like very well animated action scenes. So I think that being said, what you brought up, how it's like upbeat and then it's like down for a while and then it's upbeat again, I think that mirrors the show perfectly.
So I think not so much is it fun, but does it give off the vibe you'd want for the show?
Yeah.
It gets a check mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it explain the premise of the show that we are about to watch? Tell us, Anthony.
Yeah, so the on streaming services, the intro is translated into English. So I
Okay.
do know what she's saying. So they don't really explain the premise or the plot all that much, but the main character, Shinji, his mom is not in the picture. You actually find out in the episode I just watched that she died before the show started. I think that hearing the theme song as many times as I have and looking up the lyrics, I think that the theme song is supposed to be a letter from his mom.
Okay.
I think. I could be wrong because the show doesn't talk about, the angels or the EVA units or any of the stuff like that. It doesn't talk about. It lets the visuals do that, and even the visuals do a very odd, sporadic job of doing that. The weird visuals that we just saw mixed with the lyrics that don't really mean anything to the show. I think what they're trying to do is not spoil anything because it's one of it's one of those shows
Yeah.
where you don't want anything spoiled. You just kind of want to watch it for yourself. And I think they knew that going in, but I do think that in my interpretation of the theme song, I think it's his mom singing to him.
Okay.
She says a lot of things of like, you can do it, just believe in yourself. If people drag you down, don't take it, and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. I'll look it up and I'll cut that part out if I'm wrong. Pretty sure at one point she says, my boy. So
Yeah.
like she's talking to whoever it is, they're talking to the main character.
Right.
I think it's the mom though.
Is it creative?
So if I'm right, if it is a letter from his mom or whatever, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be a really cool spin on the show.
The show,
But we can't really go off.
right, because also you got to think this show's old, and
Yeah.
there's no way of finding out that information
Right.
about it. Musically, though, I think it definitely falls in line with 90s anime openings.
Oh, definitely.
I think it might be one of the best ones. They even make a joke about this in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series, which is a super old web show that is close to my heart. It's anime openings are so interchangeable. There's many animes that if this wasn't, especially because I'm an American who doesn't speak Japanese, so I'm not getting that very direct, like, here's what the lyrics are saying, you know? By that nature, this theme song could be in front of plenty of anime, and it would fit.
Right.
Even probably the visuals probably add up a bit, depending on the anime you pick. I think the is it creative section is kind of like null. I didn't mean null. I meant like it's not too yes and it's not too no.
Yeah.
For is it creative?
Okay, I'll take that.
I think I meant neutral when I said null.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Is it a bop or a flop?
I am going to give the theme song to Neon Genesis Evangelion a bop. I really like this one, and it's one of those ones where every time Netflix is like, do you want to skip the intro? I'm like, how dare you ask me that? How dare you ask me in this house? I'm not going to skip this intro. Are you kidding me? I only get to hear it 9 more times.
この空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ
With that, thank you so much for tuning in to another riveting episode of Bop or Flop. As always, I've been your host, Lightning.
And I'm Thunder, and I'm going to tease the next episode
All right.
because I'm excited for it. So I'm going to say what the next episode is based on, and you and probably a few listeners are going to say, there's no way there's 5 TV shows about that. But there is, and I found it, and I think it's going to make for a good episode. Next episode is going to be about Sonic the Hedgehog.